earlier in his factory last year was great, and I'll never forget, he said, go over there and pick up one of these hemp blocks, which he makes. He's going to talk about that now. And I went over there, it was this sort of large brick like this, and my experience of bricks, that'd be quite a heavy brick, and I nearly threw it through the ceiling. It was so light. And I was just so amazed at how light these blocks actually were. It was a very naive space they come from, but that's what I really took away from visiting Elliot in his workshop. So he'll be talking about hemp building products and ready hemp brick manufacturing and the use of it in commercial applications. So thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.
Now, many of you or some of you have heard me talk back in 2019, again at the Hemp Symposium, and we are just a small company. We are not big, we are just us as a family and a few other people working. So we've worked through all the progress that we have been, was hard work. We're talking 12, 14 hours every day. And we use our own money. We didn't even borrow. We had a few small investors that helped, but most of the time it was us doing the work. Now, Ready Hemp is what it is.
Could we crank up the sound a little, please?
Oh, maybe it's me. Okay.
Step a bit closer, maybe.
Yeah, closer. All right. Is that better?
Yep. Yes.
All right. So Ready Hemp is what it is. It's supposed to be Ready Hemp, as in it's not a replacement for hempcrete. Hempcrete is still a great product, like Rich said, but at the end of the day, it is. We're not going to be competing in this industry with hempcrete. I am in agreement on that. So we started our the designs and thoughts on having something ready, and we started with initially with a panel, a cladding panel, which you can see at our stand. And I spoke last time about the panel. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just go through briefly what we did in 2019 and what we talked about. I know some of it is been repeated, but I think you'll find it very useful. Looking at the cycles, the cycle of hemp, most of us know that hemp comes from our seed, and it has to go to what we call processing, and then what we are doing, which is the local manufacturing. And in that sense, we need to capture the carbon, because while the plant is growing, it's capturing carbon, and roughly every ton of hemp that you get is around 1.5 ton of carbon dioxide, not carbon dioxide. And then from there, our products, you can, or any products, any hemp products, you can actually crunch them, compost them. We also do recycling of the actual hemp, so we don't throw anything away, it gets recycled. This is the same as what everybody talked about. We've got the seed, and from the seed you can get all the products like food and every other item that you can get out of the seed, and maybe the leaf one day when we get our act together with the government. And you've got the stem, where we get from the stem, we get the hurd, and we use the hurd in our product. And then obviously the fiber around the hurd, which we can use for ropes. Or it was like the original idea was about the actual fiber. Nobody used the hurd. They used to just throw it away and just leave it in the land. Now we are making use of the whole plant. That's why it's so versatile. Now, I don't know about 25,000, as Rich said. I can't go more than about 15 with what we can do with it. Now, this is the important point that I'd like to repeat, as I said it in 2019, is that we are all in a hurry, okay? In my opinion, to transition to hemp, we need to be calm, and we need to do things slowly and do them as we study them, okay? Because what is happening is we're doing things and we don't know what we're doing. We're just getting results, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Transition to hemp has to be slow. Even though it's a technology, and technology, you transit to technology pretty fast. You know, a new mobile comes out, and the next day it's a million units have been sold or been used or whatever. Transition to hemp is not the same. It is based on technology, but we need to take it easy, as in what we're doing now. It doesn't mean that in 5 years' time, suddenly we're gonna be, all using hemp. It's not gonna happen. We are producing over 90 million bricks today, right, in a month. Now, I mean, to produce 90 million bricks at the moment, I mean, for anybody, it's going to take years and years and years, and you can't just simply replace a product like a brick, or I'm talking about other products, but at the moment that's what I know about. I'm not a farmer, by the way. I know nothing about farming. I'd like to support them, but it's something that we need to know. Transition to hemp has to be done in the way we are doing it. Let's not rush it. We'll get something wrong, and then when you do get something wrong, it's very difficult to repair it and sort it out. Now, some people talk about CO2. I always show this chart. It shows that for years and years, we've been in a cycle of CO2, which is the natural cycle, and suddenly we just went with CO2 emission well above that cycle. So we know we don't need to prove that we are heading for a higher carbon emission, and we need to do something about it, and we are. Now, I need to talk about something very important. It gets missed all the time. It is important to produce hemp products, but it is also more important to keep the lime cycle in our thoughts. Lime cycle is very important because what it does, it negates that emission which we are actually emitting during the process and the production that we are doing. So by the time you transport the stuff from A to B, you are using carbon, you are emitting carbon. Every time you do something, and like Rich said, it's going to be very difficult to get to a zero emission, because by the time you add them all up, you are negating that 1.5 ton of carbon that you have absorbed during the growth of the plant, right? Then, if you use a lime cycle, then what you do, you carry on absorbing carbon. And the way it works is that, I'm sure everybody knows that lime comes from carbon oxide, calcium oxide, and the way it's done is by heating up the limestone and breaking it and you're actually emitting CO2 by the time you get to lime. But the beauty is that you are not actually using a lot of heat to produce lime. So you're better off using lime than using cement, because cement you emit more. And then what you do is you wet it, you hydrate it, and then you use it with hemp. The moment you use it with the hemp product, you're actually absorbing the CO2. The difference between what you emit and you absorb is actually not one-to-one. So by the time you produce the lime, by the time you absorb it in our products, or the hempcrete or any other product, you're actually losing about 30%. You're only absorbing back 70%, okay? It is important to keep that in mind, okay? Now, that is the lime cycle. It's very simple, and we should really try and keep it in mind that whenever we're doing anything to do with hemp, to keep the lime cycle alive. Now, what's the difficulty that we are facing, all of us? Any innovation is that we are really confined in what I call the circle of logic. The circle of logic is whereby I'm telling you this is the product and it works, and this is what it is, and you say, well, prove it to me, you know, everybody wants a proof, you know, and this is where, you know, we use kind of an observation, we see something not burning, and then we think, how did it come about? We do the induction and the deduction and all the what we need to do. Then we do some more testing, and then after that we evaluate what we've done, and then we go again with observation and so on. Now, the issue with that, with lime, this is what I talk about transition to hemp. It is slow because you're gonna go through these cycles a million times before you get to a result. And I took the approach 2 years ago to actually do the scientific analysis of everything we are doing. And with that in mind, we are actually analyzing the actual lime, we analyze the hemp sheaf, we analyze every single item that goes in our product gets analyzed theoretically so that we try and get out of that cycle, okay? It is, I can't talk about it now because obviously it's part of our research, so, but at the end of the day, we need to go to that. We need to go to science now so that we can come out of that circle. Okay, done with what I talked about in 2019. Where are we to date? Ready Hemp is become a mature product. We have done many houses with the Ready Hemp, and we are actually now working on the large scale production. Faris has joined us lately, and he's going to be working on that. We should have enough money, I think, to produce, to build that plant, and we will probably get our certification, because at the moment everybody wants certification, even though it's a lime product. What do you certify in a lime product? It's lime. When you burn the panel and it doesn't burn, it's not the hemp, it's the lime that stops it from burning. Okay, so you can put a piece of wood, coat it with lime, and try and burn it. It's not going to burn. So we've got to get some sort of certification to satisfy, obviously, the user. But at the end of the day, we are stuck with local hemp, right? We've been trying for the last 5 years to get local hemp, and so far it has been, I don't want to say a waste of time, but it has not really produced us results. So we are using local lime, we are using local cement in small quantities, and we need local hemp. The moment we get that, our product will become made in Australia, nothing from outside. This is what we want to aim to get to, okay? Now we have got now a showroom facility, okay? So we have a showroom now, and we are happy to share this showroom with anybody that has hemp products. They can come and use it. At the moment, we have no showroom at all in probably the whole of WA, and maybe Australia, I'm not sure. But we want to build, we want to go to scale with a showroom. It's in Bayswater, the showroom, and you can see on display there all the panels, the bricks, and obviously we're doing roof tiles next year, so you'll see the roof tiles. Flooring is the same, and obviously the hemp render and the hemp paint. Now hemp paint is very important because I believe hemp paint, once we've finalized it, it will become one of the leading, it's not going to make a lot of money, but it's going to become a good advertising product because everybody uses paint, okay? So that is coming towards the end of this year. Right, we've done most of the studies on that. Now, we will also open up a supply for building products, hemp building products. That is from hemp all the way to lime and everything. So anyone that wants to build a wall, they can come to us, we give them the material, they can build it, okay? So this is, we're trying to make it more of a, how can I say, a used, normally used product. We don't want it to be sitting there as a special product. This is our aim. We will we will also accept any feedback from anyone on hemp building products. We're happy to do so. The showroom expansion will actually have a capacity also to take products other than building products. We're more than happy for anyone that's doing any kind of food or maybe even seeds. If we get the license, we can even sell seeds as well. But we're doing our best to help everyone else. We are working very hard as far as getting a full house made of hemp. The issue for us obviously is that we need structural columns made of hemp. That's a challenge, and perhaps some of the other items that are needed, like window framing. We've done some window framing with hemp, and it's a challenging. We'll probably talk about it next symposium maybe for that one. These are our hemp bricks. They're palleted in 80 brick pallet or 100 brick pallet. They're just, these are hemp bricks, by the way, what you see. Unfortunately, our production is sold until about September. So if we get that automated plant going, we should be able to start selling this stuff around maybe July. So that is, the weight of the brick is about 10 kilos, and structural, we have the formula for a structural brick, but as I said, you don't want people, like when Peter said, we don't want people to come and carry the brick and say, oh, it's heavy, because there's a difference between a structural brick and a heat-efficient brick, as in for insulation. Okay, the brick, by the way, just very quickly, have I got a minute? 1 minute. The brick itself, this is what we did. We did it the size of 4 standard bricks, which means since we can't produce 90 million bricks, we need to cooperate with the brick makers, right? So what we've done is we've done it as 4 bricks, which means the design of the house can be designed as a normal brick, and then you can just remove 4 bricks and put our brick. And that is very useful because of the quantity. What you can do is you can build with normal bricks up to a certain height, and then the last 3-4 rows you can do them with our brick, which means you still have that breathability. Obviously humidity always kind of rises, so you'll get that. At the same time, it will help us because we can't produce 7,000 bricks for a house. It just takes a long time. This is the idea, and we're talking to one brick maker that might take on our brick as well, and they'll certify it themselves, so we don't have any issue with that. One big project we're doing, which is a sports center down in Port Kennedy, that's on the cards. Within maybe a couple of months, we'll confirm that. It's going to be all hemp panels and hemp bricks, and structurally we're using steel. We love steel, and basically it will be pretty large. It's a sports center, so it's about, the roof is about 2,700 meters squared as far as the size of it. It's going to be, the land's about 5,000 and the height is about 8 meters. So this will be an experiment for the hemp product, and we'll see if it goes. I think council should give us approval next month or 2. And once we get that, we are ready to build this big commercial building. And I think I'll stop at that. These are my details. If you want to send me an email for questions, I might not be here later on. Just email me and I'll reply straight away. Okay? Thank you very much for listening.